Dummy content. Dummy text content is usually referred to as lorem ipsum. Those Latin words are actually the first two you get when you use a site that generates fake content. The most popular one is lipsum.com, but don't be fooled by the first page. That's not what you need to use. Actually, you need to press on the Generate button in the bottom right. Lorem ipsum is the standard, so most clients are accustomed to it to the point where they might even expect it. Why is that the case? Well, in general, when a client wants a website, say for his startup, he usually has a lot of things on his plate. If he doesn't have an existing website, he has no idea how to structure his content, how much should be included, and so on. So to fill up all the empty space, we use dummy content as filler material. This helps the client visualize the end product and makes it easier for him to understand your vision. The major problem designers have is they're lazy with this type of content. For example, if you create an e-commerce design that features 12 products on the front page, you'll surely create one product and then duplicate it. That's the standard approach. Now, I say designers are lazy because lots of them leave the entire area looking like this. It's very obvious this isn't ideal. You're forcing the client to visualize his products. You're forcing him to imagine variety, and that's not good business for you. Take the time to place adequate images for each product and, if possible, change their titles. This usually takes no more than 10 minutes, but it makes a huge visual impact. It makes the design feel much more relatable, and your client is bound to be more impressed by it. Remember, we're in the business of creating and selling a feeling. This is why you should never send any work in progress. Always send the end result without any intermediate designs, because this is how you make the most impact. If you constantly send over parts of your work bit by bit, your end result will be underwhelming. So going back to our main subject, make sure you allocate a few extra minutes to get some nice content. If the products have descriptions, you can leave that the same everywhere, but the image and title are absolute musts, while the prices are optional. In general, it's a good thing to show versatility through your design. Some products might have one line of text as their title, while others might need 3 lines. Take any guesswork out of it and show your design is flexible. If it's not, then stick to a standard structure of 2 lines. If he likes the concept, you'll have to then figure it out. Also, regarding the images, these can be from Google without any worries. It's clear for everybody these are just mock-ups. But for that 1% chance, you should mention to your client that these are for presentation purposes only. He can't use them in his final design, even though the chances of him wanting to do that are quite slim. Going back to our text, Photoshop has a built-in lorem ipsum generator, but unfortunately it adds a nasty line that says this is Photoshop's lorem ipsum yada yada yada. You obviously don't want that, you want the pure lorem ipsum. Luckily, in this latest version of Photoshop CC 2014, we don't have this problem, so you can use it without worries. As far as I know, that extra line is added constantly in Photoshop CS6, so that's a thing to be on the lookout for. Other than that, please remember to segment your text into paragraphs. Walls of text are horrible. Besides that, you may want to cut off some letters at the end of your lines in order to keep the gaps to a minimum. Since this is Latin, your clients aren't likely to notice. Going back a bit to your images for your products, it's always a good idea to maintain the same line throughout them. So if you decide to use a product with a white background, the rest of them should be the same. Ditto regarding the angle or perspective. In general, I'd say it's better to have items with a nice background. I usually get them from a competitor store, so if it's an electronics site, I'll just take images from a local online store from my part of the world. Again, since these are for presentational purposes only, this won't be a problem. Lastly, try to include as much actual information as possible. If you have a choice between real and dummy content, go for the real one. The client will really appreciate it. Oh, and regarding headlines and subheadlines, sometimes it's really worth going the extra mile. Create a simple slogan, catchphrase, or anything that makes sense for the company and feature that in the hero area. So with that, we've concluded dummy content. Spend a few extra minutes and your designs will seriously improve.